The transport ship New Horizon moved slowly through space toward the blue and silver planet below. Inside the ship, 4 young humans pressed their faces against the viewing windows, watching their destination grow, larger with each passing moment. This was Kepler 442b, home to the most famous school in the galaxy, the Galactic Xenobiology Institute. Jake Martinez wiped his sweaty palms on his pants for the 10th time that morning. He had studied marine biology on Earth for 6 years, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. The first human exchange program to an alien university was about to begin, and he was one of only 4 people chosen to represent his entire species. "Look at those buildings," Lisa Thompson whispered, pointing at the strange crystal structures that covered the planet's surface. She had grown up on a ranch in Montana, studying how different animals lived together in nature. The alien architecture looked nothing like anything on Earth, with buildings that seemed to grow from the ground like giant flowers made of glass and metal. Then Carter pushed his thick glasses up his nose and squinted at the planet below. As a veterinary student from Texas, he had spent most of his life taking care of sick and injured animals. The thought of meeting creatures from other worlds made his heart race with excitement and fear at the same time. Amy Walsh sat quietly in the corner, writing notes in her journal. She studied animal behavior and psychology back in Oregon, trying to understand why creatures acted the way they did. She wondered if alien animals would be anything like the ones back home, or if they would be completely different. The ship's captain, a friendly woman named Carol Davis, came over the speaker system. "Attention passengers, we will be landing at the Institute in 30 minutes. Please gather your belongings and prepare for arrival. Remember, you are the first humans these aliens will ever meet, so make a good impression." Jake looked at his 3 companions and grinned nervously. "Well, this is it. We are about to make history." The landing pad at the Galactic Xenobiology Institute was unlike anything the humans had ever seen. Strange creatures moved around the area, some walking on 2 legs like humans, others floating through the air, and some that seemed to be made of pure light. The buildings around them twisted and curved in impossible ways, reaching high into the purple sky. A tall, thin figure approached their ship as they stepped onto the landing pad. The creature looked like it was made of living crystal, with 6 delicate arms that moved like branches in a gentle breeze. Its skin sparkled in the light of the twin suns above, shifting from blue to green to silver as it walked. "Welcome, young humans," the creature said in perfect English, though its voice sounded like wind chimes in a soft breeze. "I am Dr. Zethkar, your professor of interspecies biology. We are very excited to have you here at our institute." The humans exchanged glances. They had practiced meeting aliens during their training on Earth, but actually seeing one in person was completely different. Dr. Zethkar seemed friendly enough, but there was something strange about the way its large, dark eyes looked at them as if it was studying them like specimens in a laboratory. "Thank you for having us," Lisa said, stepping forward to speak for the group. "We are honored to be here and look forward to learning from you." Dr. Zethkar made a sound that might have been laughter, like tiny bells ringing. "Excellent. Your species has such interesting social behaviors. Come, let me show you to your living quarters, and then we will begin your orientation." As they walked through the institute grounds, the humans saw other students from different worlds. There were the Quilnari, who looked like walking trees, with flowers for faces, moving slowly and peacefully across the grass. The Luminids floated nearby like balls of warm light, communicating with each other through flashes of different colors. The Zephyrians skittered around on 6 legs, looking like large insects made of metal, clicking and humming to each other in their strange language. "Your planet Earth is quite famous here," Dr. Zethkar explained as they walked. "We have heard many stories about your world. They say it is very dangerous, with extreme weather and violent geological activity. Most species in the galaxy would not be able to survive there. Ben nodded. I guess Earth is pretty tough compared to other planets. We have storms, earthquakes, volcanoes, and all sorts of dangerous weather. But it is home to us. Fascinating. Dr. Zethkar said, its crystalline skin shifting to a warm yellow color. And yet your species has not only survived, but thrived in such conditions. This makes you very interesting to study. The dormitory building looked like a giant seashell, made of pearl and silver. Inside, the hallways curved and twisted in organic shapes, with soft lighting that seemed to come from the walls themselves. Each student had their own room, designed to accommodate different alien body types and environmental needs. Your rooms have been specially prepared for human biology, Dr. Zethkar explained, showing them to their quarters. The air mixture, gravity, and temperature should be comfortable for you. If you need any adjustments, please let us know. Jake's room was small but comfortable, with furniture that seemed to grow from the floor and walls. The bed was soft and warm, and there was a large window that looked out over the Institute's gardens, where strange alien plants swayed in the gentle breeze. After they had settled in, Dr. Zethkar gathered all the new students in a large circular room with a domed ceiling that showed the stars above. Students from dozens of different worlds sat in groups, chattering excitedly in their various languages. The humans sat together, feeling very small and out of place among all these alien beings. Welcome, students, to the Galactic Xenobiology Institute, Dr. Zethkar announced, its voice somehow reaching every corner of the room, despite speaking softly. You have come here from many different worlds to study the wonderful diversity of life in our galaxy. Over the next year, you will learn about creatures and ecosystems that are completely different from your own. The professor gestured with 2 of its 6 arms toward a holographic display that appeared in the center of the room. Images of strange alien creatures flickered through the air, some beautiful, some bizarre, all completely unlike anything on Earth. Your final project for this program will be very special, Dr. Zethkar continued. Each of you must present your homeworld's most interesting biological relationship. This could be a symbiotic partnership between 2 species, a unique evolutionary adaptation, or an example of how different creatures work together in nature. Amy leaned forward with interest. This sounded exactly like the kind of research she loved to do. To make your presentations more engaging, the professor went on, you are encouraged to bring living specimens from your homeworld to demonstrate these relationships. Our biotransport system can safely bring creatures from your planet to the Institute, where they can be housed temporarily in our research facilities. Jake felt a surge of excitement. He immediately thought of Rex, his family's German shepherd back home. Rex was the perfect example of the relationship between humans and animals on Earth. The presentations will take place in 12 weeks, Dr. Zethkar announced. This will give you time to request your specimens and prepare your research. Remember, the goal is to show us something unique and wonderful about life on your homeworld. As the orientation ended and students began to disperse, the 4 humans huddled together to discuss what they had just heard. This is perfect, Jake sighed, grinning widely. I know exactly what I want to present. Me too, Lisa agreed. I have the perfect animal back home that would be great for this. Ben and Amy nodded enthusiastically. They all had ideas about which of their animal companions would best represent the special relationship between humans and other creatures on Earth. What none of them realized was that their definition of animal companion was about to give Dr. Zethkar and the rest of the Institute the biggest shock of their academic careers. In a galaxy where the most dangerous predator on most worlds was roughly equivalent to a butterfly, the concept of living peacefully with Earth's apex predators was completely beyond alien. understanding that as they walked back to their dormitories. That evening, making plans and discussing their upcoming presentations, the humans had no idea that they were about to introduce the galaxy to a concept that would change everything the aliens thought they knew about the relationship between predator and prey. 3 days after the orientation, Jake sat in his room staring at the holographic form he needed to fill out. The Institute's computer system had given him a digital request form for bringing animals from Earth. He typed carefully in the species name box, Canis lupus familiaris. In the common name section, he wrote German Shepherd Dog, and in the purpose section, he explained that Rex was his family's companion animal who provided emotional support and protection. Down the hall, Lisa was filling out her own form. She smiled as she typed Python regius in the scientific name field and ball python as the common name. In the description box, she wrote that Sage was her emotional support animal who helped her feel calm and relaxed during stressful times. She had owned Sage for 3 years, and the snake was very gentle and well-behaved. Ben was having trouble with his form because the computer kept asking for more details. He had listed Pogona viticeps as the scientific name for his bearded dragon, Spike. The computer seemed confused by some of the information it was finding about the species, but Ben just wrote that Spike was his therapy animal who helped him study and provided. Companionship.Amy had the easiest time with her form. She wrote Felis catus for her cat Whiskers and explained that cats had been human companions for thousands of years. She described Whiskers as friendly, affectionate, and perfectly suited for life in a small space, like a dormitory room. The Institute's main computer received all 4 requests and began processing them through its databases. The artificial intelligence system was designed to cross-reference any incoming species with the galaxy's extensive biological records. What it found when it looked up Earth's companion animals made its circuits buzz with confusion. According to the data, Canis lupus familiaris was descended from wolves, which were listed as apex predators with powerful jaws and pack-hunting behavior. Python regius was classified as a constrictor snake that killed prey by suffocation. Pogona viticeps was an omnivorous reptile with territorial instincts and a painful bite. Felis catus was described as a small carnivore with exceptional hunting skills and a kill rate that would make most galactic predators envious. The computer sent several warning messages to Dr. Zethkar's office, but the professor was busy with other students and barely glanced at them. The warnings mentioned things like predatory adaptations and carnivorous dietary requirements, but Dr. Zethkar assumed these were just translation errors. Earth's database system was still new to the galactic network, and there were often mistakes when information was converted between different species classification systems. After reviewing the requests, Dr. Zethkar approved all 4 applications. The humans seemed like such peaceful, friendly creatures. Surely their companion animals would be equally gentle and harmless. Meanwhile, the other alien students were getting excited about their own presentations. In the cafeteria, a group of them gathered around a table to discuss what they were planning to bring from their HOMEWORDS.soft-branch-in-morning-light. A culinary student was talking about her flower moths. "They are so beautiful," she said in her musical voice that sounded like leaves rustling in the wind. "Each one is smaller than your smallest finger, and they glow with soft colors when they feed on nectar. They help pollinate the crystal flowers on my world." Click whistle hum. A Zephyrian student made excited clicking sounds with his mandibles. "I will bring my crystal knights," he announced. "They are microscopic creatures that help build our cities. They work together in perfect harmony, creating beautiful structures from mineral deposits." Bright pulse of joy, a luminid student, flickered with happy golden light. "My energy fish exist only in thought space, but they provide wonderful emotional support. They swim through our collective consciousness, bringing peace and comfort to anyone who feels sad or lonely. The alien students were all planning to bring creatures that were small, gentle, and helpful. None of them could imagine anything different. In their experience, the most dangerous animals in the galaxy were about as threatening as Earth's butterflies. Jake happened to be walking past their table when he heard them talking. He stopped and smiled. "That sounds really cool," he said. "I am bringing my dog Rex. He is a German Shepherd, and he has been my family's companion since I was a kid. He is great at providing protection and emotional support." The alien students looked at each other with interest. They had never heard of a dog before, but if the peaceful human Jake loved this creature, it must be something wonderful. "What does your dog look like?" asked Soft-Branch-in-Morning-Light. Jake pulled out his phone and showed them a picture of Rex. In the photo, the big German Shepherd was sitting in Jake's backyard, tongue hanging out, looking happy and relaxed. To Jake, it was just a normal picture of his beloved pet. To the alien students, it was their first glimpse of a creature that looked like it could tear them apart. The aliens stared at the image in stunned silence. The creature in the picture was enormous, with powerful muscles visible under its thick fur. Its mouth was open, revealing white teeth that looked designed for ripping and tearing. Its eyes were alert and intelligent, suggesting a predator that could think and plan. That is your companion?" Click Whistle Hum asked, his voice rising to a high pitch. "Yeah, Rex is the best," Jake said proudly. "He is really smart and loyal. He can track scents for miles, and he has been trained to protect my family from any threats. But mostly he just likes to play fetch and sleep on the couch." The alien students exchanged terrified glances. This creature was trained to track and eliminate threats, and the human kept it in his house? "Does it ever hurt anyone?" Bright Pulse of Joy asked, flickering with nervous yellow light. Jake laughed. "Rex? No way. He is gentle as a lamb. I mean, he could probably take down a burglar if he had to, but he has never hurt anyone. He loves kids and other animals. He even lets our neighbor's cat sleep on his back." The aliens were trying to process this information. A predator that could take down threats but chose not to? A killing machine that let smaller creatures sleep on it? The concept was completely foreign to them. Over the next few days, word spread through the alien student body about the human's terrifying companion. Students who had never met the humans began avoiding them in the hallways. Others would whisper nervously when Jake, Lisa, Ben, or Amy walked by. The humans noticed that their alien classmates seemed less friendly than before, but they couldn't figure out why. They tried to be extra nice and helpful, which only made the aliens more confused. How could beings who lived with such dangerous predators be so kind and gentle? Dr. Zethkar was also starting to notice the change in atmosphere around the institute. Several students had come to his office with concerns about the human presentations. They were worried about having dangerous predators brought to their school. "Professor," said one worried Quillary student, "we have heard that the humans are bringing killing machines to the presentation. Should we be afraid?" Dr. Zethkar's crystalline skin shifted to a pale blue color, indicating mild concern. "I have reviewed their requests personally," he said. "The humans are bringing companion animals, just like the rest of you. There is nothing to worry about." But privately, Dr. Zethkar was beginning to have doubts. The computer warnings kept appearing on his desk, and the descriptions of Earth's companion animals seemed increasingly disturbing. He decided to do some research of his own. Late one evening, Dr. Zethkar accessed the galactic database and began looking up information about Earth's animals. What he found made his skin shift to deep purple with shock. Earth was not just a dangerous planet because of its weather and geology. It was dangerous because it was filled with creatures that would be considered apex predators on any other world. And somehow, humans had convinced these predators to live peacefully with them. The professor sat in his office, staring at images of Earth's wildlife. Lions, tigers, bears, sharks, venomous snakes, and countless other deadly creatures. And among them, pictures of humans interacting with these animals. Children playing with dogs that could easily overpower them. People holding snakes that could kill with a single bite. Families sharing their homes with creatures that most alien species would consider monsters. Dr. Zethkar realized that he had made a terrible mistake. The human presentations were not going to be gentle demonstrations of peaceful relationships. They were going to be displays of humanity's most terrifying ability, their talent for turning deadly predators into loving companions. The presentation day was still 9 weeks away, but Dr. Zethkar was already dreading it. He knew that when the humans brought their pets to class, nothing at the Institute would ever be the same again. As he sat in his office that night, watching the twin moons rise over the campus, Dr. Zethkar wondered if he should cancel the human presentations, but he knew he couldn't. The students had already made their requests, and the animals were probably already being prepared for transport. All he could do now was hope that the galaxy was ready to learn the truth about humanity's relationship with the deadliest creatures on their world. The day of the presentations finally arrived. The Institute's grand amphitheater had been prepared for the special event, with its crystal dome open to let in the warm light of the twin suns. Students from across the galaxy filled the curved seating areas, chattering nervously in dozens of different languages. The air buzzed with excitement and fear. Dr. Zethkar stood at the front of the amphitheater, his crystalline skin shifting through various shades of purple and blue. He had spent sleepless nights preparing for this day, knowing that everything was about to change. The transport ships carrying the Earth animals had arrived that morning, and they were now waiting in the Institute's biocontainment facility. The security systems had been upgraded twice in the past week after the automated scanners kept flagging dangerous readings from the human specimens. Dr. Zethkar had assured the Institute's board that everything was under control, but he was beginning to doubt his own words. The alien students went first, as planned. Soft Branch and Morning Light walked gracefully to the center of the amphitheater, carrying a small crystal container that glowed with soft light. Inside, tiny creatures no bigger than flower petals fluttered around like living jewels. "These are my world's flower moths," she said in her musical voice. "They live in harmony with our crystal flowers, drinking nectar and spreading pollen. Each moth carries the light of our twin suns in its wings, creating beautiful patterns as they fly." She opened the container, and the tiny moths emerged there, wings sparkling with rainbow colors. They danced through the air like drops of liquid starlight, creating swirling patterns that made the audience gasp with wonder. The creatures were so delicate that they seemed to be made of pure light and air. The audience applauded gently, careful not to disturb the peaceful creatures. This was exactly what they had expected from the presentations. Beautiful, harmless beings that showed the gentle nature of life in the galaxy. Click-whistle-hum was next. The Zephyrian student carried a clear sphere filled with what looked like glittering dust. He placed it on a special platform and began his presentation. "My crystal mites are the builders of our civilization," he clicked proudly. "They are so small that millions of them can fit in this sphere, but together they create the living cities where my people dwell." He activated the sphere, and the tiny mites began to work. Within minutes, they had constructed a miniature version of a Zephyrian city, complete with delicate spires and flowing bridges. The mites moved in perfect coordination, each one knowing exactly where it needed to be. It was like watching a miracle of cooperation and intelligence. Again, The audience was amazed, but not frightened. These creatures were tiny, helpful, and worked in harmony with their companion species. This was the natural order of things in the galaxy. Bright pulse of joy floated to the center of the amphitheater, her light form shifting through gentle blues and greens. My energy fish cannot be seen by physical eyes, she explained, but they swim through the thoughts and dreams of my people, bringing comfort to those who are sad or afraid. As she spoke, she projected images of her energy fish into the minds of the audience. The creatures appeared as streams of warm, golden light that moved like fish swimming through water. They brought feelings of peace and happiness to everyone who saw them. Several students sighed with contentment as the energy fish swam through their consciousness. The alien presentations continued for another hour, each one showing creatures that were small, gentle, and helpful. The audience was relaxed and happy, enjoying the peaceful demonstrations of interspecies cooperation. Then Dr. Zethkar announced that it was time for the human presentations. Jake walked to the center of the amphitheater, looking confident and excited. Behind him, 2 security guards wheeled in a large containment unit. The audience could hear something moving inside it, but they couldn't see what it was. "I want to introduce you to my best friend," Jake said with a big smile. "This is Rex, and he has been part of my family for 8 years. He represents the amazing bond between humans and our companion animals." Jake pressed a button on the containment unit, and the front panel slid open. Rex stepped out into the amphitheater, and the entire audience fell silent. The German Shepherd was magnificent and terrifying at the same time. He stood nearly 3 feet tall at the shoulder, with thick black and tan fur that rippled over powerful muscles. His ears were pointed and alert, constantly moving to catch every sound in the amphitheater. His dark eyes scanned the crowd with an intelligence that was both impressive and frightening. To the alien audience, Rex looked like their worst nightmares come to life. He was clearly a predator, built for hunting and killing. His legs were strong enough to run down prey over long distances. His shoulders and chest showed the muscle development of a creature designed to bring down large animals. When he opened his mouth to pant, they could see teeth that were obviously meant for tearing flesh. Several students in the front rows began backing away from the center of the amphitheater. The culinary students were making high-pitched whistling sounds of distress. The luminids flickered rapidly between different colors, showing their panic. Even the usually calm Zephyrians were clicking their mandibles nervously. Jake was completely unaware of the fear he was causing. He knelt down next to Rex and scratched behind the dog's ears. Rex's tail began wagging, and he leaned against Jake affectionately. "Rex is a German Shepherd," Jake explained happily. "His breed was originally developed to work with human shepherds, helping to protect and control flocks of sheep. German Shepherds are known for their intelligence, loyalty, and protective instincts." The word protective sent a wave of terror through the alien audience. This creature was designed to protect humans by attacking their enemies? "Rex has been trained in personal protection and search and rescue," Jake continued. "He can track a scent trail for miles, even days after it was left. His bite force is over 200 pounds per square inch, which means he can easily break bones if he needs to defend his family." Dr. Zethkar's skin had turned completely purple, the color of extreme fear among his species. The audience was now openly showing signs of panic. Several students had stood up and were moving toward the exits. But Jake wasn't finished. The amazing thing about Rex is that despite all his natural abilities as a predator, he chooses to use them to help and protect humans instead of hunting prey. He sleeps in my bedroom every night, plays with children, and has never hurt anyone who didn't try to hurt my family first. Rex demonstrated this gentleness by sitting calmly next to Jake, his tongue hanging out in a friendly expression. But to the aliens, This only made him more terrifying. A predator that could control its killing instincts was far more dangerous than one that simply acted on instinct. "Watch this," Jake said, pulling a tennis ball from his pocket. He threw it across the amphitheater, and Rex immediately ran after it. The sight of the powerful predator running at full speed made several alien students scream and dive for cover. Rex caught the ball and brought it back to Jake, dropping it at his feet and looking up expectantly. His tail wagged the entire time, and he seemed to be smiling. "See? He just wants to play," Jake said, completely missing the fact that half his audience was now hiding under their seats. Rex loves games, belly rubs, and sleeping in sunny spots. He is basically a big, friendly teddy bear who happens to be really good at protecting people. Dr. Zethkar managed to find his voice. "That is very interesting, Jake. Perhaps Rex could return to his containment unit now." Jake looked confused. "Why? He is perfectly safe. Rex, sit." The dog immediately sat, looking alert and obedient. The precision of his response to commands only made the aliens more nervous. A predator that followed orders was a weapon. "Rex, shake." "Hands with Dr. Zethkar," Jake said. Rex walked over to the terrified professor and held up his right paw. Dr. Zethkar stared at the paw, knowing that it contained claws that could tear through his crystalline skin like paper. But Rex just sat there patiently, waiting for the handshake. Trembling, Dr. Zethkar reached out with one of his delicate appendages and briefly touched Rex's paw. Rex's tail wagged harder, and he made a soft whining sound that Jake recognized as happiness. "He likes you," Jake said proudly. "Rex is a great judge of character. He can tell you are a good person." The irony was lost on the terrified professor. This killing machine was judging his character and finding him acceptable. It was the most frightening compliment he had ever received. As Jake led Rex back to the containment unit, the audience sat in stunned silence. They had just witnessed something that challenged everything they thought they knew about the relationship between predator and prey. A human had introduced them to a creature that could easily kill most beings in the room, and that creature had chosen to be gentle and friendly instead. But this was only the first human presentation. There were still 3 more to go, and Dr. Zethkar had a terrible feeling that things were about to get much worse. After Jake and Rex left the center of the amphitheater, the alien audience remained frozen in their seats. Nervous whispers filled the air as students tried to process what they had just witnessed. Dr. Zethkar was hoping that maybe the other human presentations would be less shocking, but deep down he knew things were about to get much worse. Lisa Thompson walked confidently to the center of the amphitheater, carrying what looked like a simple travel bag. She seemed completely relaxed and happy, which only made the aliens more nervous. If she was this calm about her presentation, what kind of monster was she about to reveal? "Hello, everyone," Lisa said with a warm smile. "I want to introduce you to my companion, Sage. She has been with me for 3 years, and she helps me stay calm during stressful times like exams and research projects." Lisa opened her bag and reached inside. The audience held their breath as she pulled out what looked like a thick rope made of brown and gold patterns. But as the creature began to move, everyone realized it was not a rope at all. Sage, the ball python, slowly uncoiled herself and wrapped around Lisa's shoulders like a living necklace. The snake was about 4 feet long and as thick as Lisa's arm. Her scales caught the light from the dome above, creating a pattern of diamonds and swirls that might have been beautiful if the audience wasn't absolutely terrified. The reaction was immediate and extreme. Several Kilnari students began making high-pitched alarm calls. 3 luminids flickered so rapidly they looked like emergency beacons. A group of Zephyrians at the back of the amphitheater started clicking and humming frantically in their panic language. But Lisa continued her presentation as if nothing unusual was happening. Sage is a ball python from Earth, she explained, gently stroking the snake's head. Pythons are constrictors, which means they kill their prey by wrapping around it and squeezing until it cannot breathe anymore. The word kill sent another wave of panic through the audience. Several more students stood up and began moving toward the exits, but they were afraid to make sudden movements that might attract the snake's attention. In the wild, all pythons can take down prey much larger than themselves, Lisa continued cheerfully. They are incredibly strong and patient hunters. Sage here could probably overpower most creatures her size, or even bigger. Dr. Zethkar. Crystalline's skin had gone completely transparent with fear, something that only happened in the most extreme situations. He wanted to stop the presentation, but he was afraid that any sudden action might provoke the snake to attack. Lisa seemed to notice the audience's distress for the first time. "Oh, don't worry," she said reassuringly. "Sage is perfectly safe. She has never hurt anyone. Look, I will show you how gentle she is." To the absolute horror of everyone watching, Lisa lifted Sage from her shoulders and held the snake close to her face. Sage's tongue flicked out, tasting the air near Lisa's cheek. The snake's unblinking eyes stared directly at the audience, and several students whimpered in fear. "See? She is just saying hello," Lisa explained. "Pythons use their tongues to smell and taste their environment. Sage knows I am not prey, so she has no interest in hurting me. In fact, she probably sees me as a source of warmth and protection." The idea that this deadly predator saw the human as protection was somehow even more terrifying than thinking it might attack her. What kind of creatures were humans if even apex predators felt safe with them? "Sage loves to curl up with me when I am studying," Lisa continued. "She is very calming to have around. Sometimes I will fall asleep at my desk, and I will wake up to find her wrapped around my arm or draped across my shoulders. It is like having a living heating pad." The mental image of sleeping while a constrictor snake coiled around their body was beyond the comprehension of every alien in the room. How could any living being be so relaxed around something that could kill them in their sleep? The best part about having Sage as a companion is that she is very low maintenance, Lisa said, completely unaware of the panic she was causing. "She only needs to eat once every few weeks, and she spends most of her time just lounging around. She is the perfect pet for a busy student." Lisa gently placed Sage back around her shoulders, and the snake settled into position as if this was the most natural thing in the world. The two of them looked completely comfortable together, like old friends who had known each other for years. "Any questions about ball pythons?" Lisa asked the audience. The silence was deafening. Not a single alien dared to speak or even move. They were all trying to become invisible, hoping the snake would not notice them. After a moment, Lisa shrugged and walked back toward the side of the amphitheater. "Thank you for listening," she said politely as she put Sage back in her travel bag. Before the audience could even begin to recover from Lisa's presentation, Ben Carter was already walking toward the center of the amphitheater. He carried a glass terrarium that was large enough to hold something the size of a small dog. Dr. Zithkar desperately wanted to cancel the remaining presentations, but he knew it was too late. The other humans were already prepared, and stopping now would only create more panic and confusion. "Hi, everyone," Ben said in his friendly Texas accent. "I am excited to show you my therapy animal, Spike. He has been helping me through veterinary school for the past 2 years. Ben placed the terrarium on the presentation platform and opened the top. He reached inside and carefully lifted out what looked like a small dragon. Spike the bearded dragon was about 1.5 feet long, with spiky scales covering his body, and a row of sharp-looking spines around his neck and head. Even though Spike was much smaller than Rex or Sage, he was no less frightening to the alien audience. His reptilian appearance triggered primal fears in species that had evolved from prey animals. His beady eyes moved independently of each other, allowing him to watch multiple parts of the audience at the same time. Bearded dragons are native to the desert regions of Australia, Ben explained, holding Spike comfortably in his hands. They are omnivores, which means they eat both plants and meat. In the wild, they hunt insects, small rodents, and even other lizards. The casual mention of hunting and eating other animals made several students feel sick. The Kolnari were especially distressed, since they were plant-based life forms themselves. Spike here loves to hunt crickets, Ben continued with enthusiasm. Sometimes I will buy a container of live crickets and release them in my apartment. Then I will watch Spike stalk and catch them. It is great exercise for him, and it helps keep his hunting instincts sharp. The idea of deliberately releasing prey animals for a predator to hunt in a living space was completely insane to the alien audience. Ben was describing it like it was a fun game instead of a feeding frenzy. Bearded dragons are also very territorial, Ben went on. They will fight other dragons that come into their space, and they can deliver a pretty painful bite if they feel threatened. But Spike has never bitten me because he knows I am not a threat. Ben demonstrated by letting Spike crawl up his arm and perch on his shoulder. The lizard's claws scratched against Ben's shirt as he moved, but Ben seemed completely unbothered by having a predator sitting next to his neck. The amazing thing about Spike is how he shows affection, Ben said, gently stroking the dragon's back. When he is happy, he will close his eyes and lean into your touch, just like he is doing now. He also likes to sit on my laptop computer when I am studying because it gives off heat. Spike seemed to demonstrate this by closing his eyes and pressing against Ben's hand. To the humans, it looked like a sweet moment between a pet and its owner. To the aliens, it looked like a predator being temporarily pacified by a potential victim. Bearded dragons can live for 15 to 20 years, Ben concluded. So Spike and I will be companions for a long time. He is not just a pet to me, he is family. As Ben placed Spike back in his terrarium, the alien audience was beginning to understand something terrible. These humans did not just tolerate dangerous predators. They loved them like family members. They slept with them, played with them, and trusted them completely. But there was still one more human presentation to go. Amy Walsh was already walking toward the center of the amphitheater, carrying a small pet carrier. Through the mesh sides of the carrier, the aliens could see something small and furry moving around inside. After seeing a trained attack dog, a constrictor snake, and a hunting lizard, the audience was terrified to discover what the fourth human considered a suitable companion. Whatever was in that carrier was about to complete their education in the horrifying relationship between humans and Earth's predators. Dr. Zethkar realized that his academic career was probably over. No matter what happened next, the galaxy would never forget the day that Deathworlders brought their pets to class. Amy Walsh walked to the center of the amphitheater carrying her small pet carrier, completely unaware that the alien audience was on the edge of total panic. After seeing a trained attack dog, a constrictor snake, and a hunting lizard, the aliens were convinced that whatever was in Amy's carrier would be the most terrifying predator, yet Dr. Zethkar's crystalline skin had turned completely clear, a sign of extreme stress in his species. Several security guards had positioned themselves around the amphitheater, ready to evacuate the building if necessary. The remaining students who had not already fled were huddled together in the back rows, as far from the presentation area as possible. "Hello, everyone," Amy said with a cheerful smile. "I want to introduce you to my companion, Whiskers. She has been living with me for 4 years, and she is the perfect example of the special relationship between humans and our animal friends." Amy opened the pet carrier, and a small orange tabby cat stepped out. Whiskers was fluffy and adorable, with bright green eyes and white patches on her chest and paws. She looked around the amphitheater with curiosity, her tail twitching as she took in all the strange sights and smells. For a moment, the alien audience felt a wave of relief. After the previous presentations, Whiskers looked almost harmless. She was small, fluffy, and moved with a grace that seemed almost peaceful. Maybe this human had finally brought something that was not a deadly predator. That relief lasted exactly 30 seconds. Cats are actually the perfect predators, Amy began, her voice taking on the tone of an academic lecture. They have evolved to be incredibly efficient killing machines. Whiskers here has retractable claws, night vision that is 6 times better than human vision, and reflexes that are faster than almost any creature on Earth. The word killing machines sent the alien audience back into full panic mode. Several students who had started to relax immediately began backing away again. Amy picked up Whiskers, who began purring loudly. The sound was alien and frightening to the non-human audience, like the rumbling of some kind of engine preparing for attack. The amazing thing about domestic cats is that they do not hunt because they are hungry, Amy continued. They hunt purely for the joy of it. On Earth, house cats kill billions of small animals every year, including birds, mice, lizards, and insects. Most of the time, they do not even eat what they kill. They just hunt because they enjoy it. The concept of a creature that killed for pleasure was beyond the comprehension of the alien students. Every species in the galaxy hunted for survival, not entertainment. The idea of a predator that killed simply because it was fun was the most terrifying thing they had ever heard. Whiskers can leap 5 times her own height and has perfect balance, Amy went on, stroking the cat's fur. Her claws are razor sharp and can extend and retract at will. She can move completely silently when she wants to, which makes her an excellent ambush predator. To demonstrate, Amy placed Whiskers on the floor. The cat immediately crouched low and began stalking across the amphitheater floor, moving without making a single sound. Her eyes locked onto a small cleaning robot that was moving along the wall, and she began the hunting sequence that had been perfected over millions of years of evolution. The alien audience watched in fascinated horror as Whiskers demonstrated her predatory skills. She moved like liquid shadow, her body low to the ground, every muscle coiled for the perfect strike. When she pounced on the cleaning robot, her movements were so fast that most of the aliens could barely see them. See how she uses her claws to grab and hold her prey, Amy said proudly. And notice how she bites at the neck area. That is an instinctive behavior designed to sever the spinal cord and kill quickly. The cleaning robot was perfectly safe, being made of metal and plastic, but watching Whiskers attack it with such precision and skill was terrifying. This small, fluffy creature was demonstrating hunting techniques that would make most galactic predators jealous. The most amazing part, Amy continued, is that despite all these deadly abilities, Whiskers chooses to use them to play and bond with humans instead of hunting for real. She sleeps on my bed every night, curled up next to my head. Sometimes I wake up and find her paws on my face, purring right next to my ear. The mental image of sleeping next to a creature that killed for pleasure was the final straw for many of the alien students. A group of Quilnari began making distress calls so loud that the amphitheater's sound system started buzzing with feedback. Several luminids flickered out completely, using their species equivalent of fainting to escape the situation. But Amy was not finished. She picked up Whiskers, who had returned from her demonstration and was now rubbing against Amy's legs affectionately. Cats show love in very unique ways, Amy explained. When Whiskers brings me a dead mouse or bird, she is actually giving me a gift. She is sharing her kill with me because she considers me part of her family. It is one of the highest honors a cat can give. The idea that receiving dead animals was a sign of affection was completely alien to the non-human students. They were trying to understand how humans could interpret gifts of corpses as expressions of love. "She also likes to knead on my lap with her claws," Amy added. "It is called making biscuits, and it is something cats do when they are very happy and content. The fact that she could easily scratch me with those same claws, but chooses to be gentle, shows how much she trusts me." Whiskers demonstrated by jumping into Amy's arms and beginning to knead her sweater with her paws. The soft purring sound filled the amphitheater, and the cat's obvious contentment was visible to everyone watching. Dr. Zethkar realized something profound in that moment. He was watching a creature that could easily harm the human, but was choosing instead to show affection. The cat was not being controlled or forced to be gentle. She was making a conscious choice to redirect her predatory instincts toward bonding and companionship. "I think there has been a misunderstanding," Amy said, finally noticing the panic in the audience. "I know these animals might seem scary to you, but they are not just predators to us. They are family members. They have chosen to live with humans and share their lives with us." Jake stepped forward, still standing near Rex's containment unit. "Amy is right," he said. "Yes, Rex could probably take down most creatures in this room if he wanted to. But he does not want to. He wants to protect us, play fetch, and sleep in sunny spots. That is what makes him such a good companion." Lisa nodded, her travel bag containing Sage still slung over her shoulder. "Sage could probably overpower me if she really tried, but she has never shown any interest in hurting me. She just wants to be warm and safe, and she trusts me to provide that." Ben held up Spike's terrarium. "These animals could use their natural abilities to hunt and kill, but they choose to be part of our families instead. They trust us completely, and we trust them." Dr. Zethkar slowly approached the group of humans and their companions. His skin was shifting from clear to a pale yellow, indicating cautious curiosity instead of pure fear. "You are saying that these predators voluntarily choose to suppress their hunting instincts because they care about your species?" he asked carefully. Amy smiled and nodded. "It is not about suppressing instincts. It is about redirecting them. Whiskers still hunts, but she hunts toys and laser pointers instead of real prey. Rex still protects his pack, but his pack is my family instead of other wolves. They are still being true to their nature, but they have chosen to express that nature in ways that bring us together instead of driving us apart." The amphitheater was quiet as the alien students tried to process this information. The humans were not just living with dangerous predators. They had formed genuine emotional bonds with creatures that could easily kill them, and those creatures had chosen to be companions instead of hunters. Dr. Zethkar extended one of his crystalline appendages toward Whiskers, who was still purring in Amy's arms. The cat sniffed his finger curiously, then rubbed her head against it gently. "She likes you," Amy said with a smile. Cats are very good judges of character. As the other alien students began to cautiously approach, Dr. Zethkar realized that everything they thought they knew about predator and prey relationships was wrong. The humans had not conquered these creatures or forced them into submission. They had created something entirely new, a partnership based on mutual trust, respect, and love. Over the following weeks, the Institute established a new research program to study the unprecedented relationship between humans and their companion animals. Students from across the galaxy came to observe and learn from the humans and their pets. The galaxy began to understand that humanity's greatest strength was not their ability to survive on a dangerous world, but their ability to turn the most dangerous creatures of that world into loving family members. And perhaps the aliens realized there was something they could learn from that kind of trust and compassion. Dr. Zethkar wrote in his final research notes. The humans call it domestication. But what we have witnessed is something far more remarkable. These creatures have chosen to transform themselves from predators into companions, not through force or manipulation, but through the power of genuine affection and mutual respect. Perhaps this is the most important lesson the galaxy can learn from the Deathworlders, that love truly can conquer all.